Well, hello everyone. This is our guidance for case number 6. It's a nice case, and I enjoyed doing it. I was thinking out how to do it. This is our reading, and if we scroll down a little bit, we get the sentence over here. The fact that intrusion detection systems tend to generate huge amounts of false positives. A false positive is an item that has all the attributes of what we're looking for, maybe a fraud, and maybe some other aspect of misbehavior. But it turns out that it isn't a fraud, or it isn't an attribute of misbehavior. So the nice thing about our case is everything that we find tonight is going to be a real issue, and it's not going to be a false positive. It's indeed going to be a true positive. So number 1, open access and import the all employees file. I imported it. I don't want an ID from Access because I already have a user ID over here and things just get messy and too full. This is employees. If they have been terminated, they have a termination date. These are our users. Same group of people. Last login, and you'll see that we are in July of 2018. Disabled. True if they don't have access. False if they are still a current user. And number 1 says import all employees. Give me a screenshot of the first 10 rows. Over here, you can see I can just call it users, keep it nice and short, and give me a screenshot of the first 10 rows. Number 4, run a query to identify those employees that were terminated and have not been disabled. Close. Close. The best thing is to start off by identifying all those employees that have been terminated, and then those are simply the ones that we're going to deal with instead of all employees. So I'm going to create a new query, and I'm going to access employees. I'm going to bring in all the fields, and I don't care about the active employees. I care about those that have been terminated. So I'm going to go terminated, and in this case, if they have been terminated, they have a date in the terminated field. If they have not been terminated, that field is empty. In other words, in Access terms, it's null. I want to find, or I will get all those employees that are terminated if I go is, and not null, but I must go is not null. So sometimes we care about whether it is null or whether it is not null. In this case, I care whether it is not null. And in fact, if I run this, I get my 57 employees and they with termination dates. I'm going to save this as query terminated. It is actually these people that I care about. So we'll do OK. And in fact, we can close this. Now, I still haven't answered number 4. Have not been disabled. So what we're going to do is we are going to create a new query, and we are going to pull up those people that are terminated. You see, I did this first. And then I'm going to go and pull up my users. And we can close this here. And I think I'll save this right now because it might be a bit of work here. Query not disabled. We're going to do OK. Now, which ones am I going to pull in? I'm going to pull in, I'll go from my users over here. User ID, last name, first name, disabled, and then from query terminated, we're going to do this, and I'm going to pull in last login as well. Let me put this in here, last login. Okay. Now I'm going to join these two because I want disabled equals, I'm jumping around here, but disabled equals false. and it's the word false that's in that column. So if I simply run this, I'm going to get all those users that are not disabled. In other words, disabled equals false. But I actually want all those people who disabled equals false and who are also in this table. And I'm going to use a join. Watch what I did. I just highlighted it there, and with I'm doing a left click, but I'm holding the button down. And I'm holding the button down and I'm dragging it across to user ID there, and then I'm let going the button. And now, we'll just do this here. And now I have a straight line with two small dots at the end, and I'm going to click on the line with a left click, right click, join properties, and what it says is include only those rows where the joined fields from both tables are equal. In other words, it's going to give me this, and it's going to give me false, but it's going to give it to me for those cases that are occurring in this table. You might need to think about it, read about it, look, mull over it a little bit, but if I run, I get what I'm looking for. I get employees that have been terminated. You see, they have a termination date. Oh, I didn't pull that in. Let me go back to design view. I didn't bring in a termination date. I don't like that. In fact, I almost need that. Let me just go here and save and actually close and go back to this query terminated design view. And here I have terminated. Oh, terminated is indeed the date that they were terminated. So I can close this. Here we go. This is indeed the date that they were terminated. And I'm going to pull this down into here. And actually, I want to reverse these two. This is going to be a bit neater if I drag that across, and I get termination date, last login. And if I run this now, sorry to jump around there, I get they were terminated, they have not been disabled, and I have the last login date, and this is enough to answer number 4. So this is the answer to 4, and we want the whole table because we want all of them. You can see that there were 21 of them. Query not disabled, save. Close. Number 5, they've been terminated and they accessed the system after their termination date. Create a new query, and I'm going to pull up, what was my second one again? The second one that I saved was not disabled. Now I'm going to do a little gymnastics here. We want to know whether they accessed the system after their termination date. Pull, pull, double left click. There we go. Terminated, last login. I'm going to do, this is what I care about. What should we call this? Access the system. We'll call this accessed after. And what I will do is I will do last login. It's not case sensitive. Minus terminated. It's going to actually subtract the two dates from each other. What should we get? And then we will be able to see when this condition is true and whether my syntax is good over there. We're just going to run this. Here we go. Terminated, last login. Terminated, last login. In this case, the last login was 3 days after they were terminated. What I care about is when this number here is positive, in other words, greater than 0. And when it's greater than 0, it means the last login was after the terminated date. So we can go back in the query here, design view, and I might as well save it. We'll save it as query logged in after. I don't care about all of these. I care about the cases in the criteria here when it is greater than 0. And I've got that criteria right because I have my my equation in order there. And here we go. Logged in 12 days after termination, logged in 88 days after termination. And so this is indeed the answer to number 5. Number 6. How often do you think we should run these system analytics? Daily, weekly, or monthly? Some other time reason. Give a reason for your answer, and I will leave that up to you to do. So I'm just going to go back here again. Logged in after, design view. What I had to do was I had to do a calculation to calculate the difference between the two dates. And based on the order in which I had these dates, if the number was positive, or the order of the subtraction, if the number of positive, it means that they accessed the system after they were terminated. So these are serious instances, and the cases before, serious instances as well, and all those falses must be changed to trues. I like this case. I hope you do too. And from me to you, it's goodbye.